Hello and welcome to Friday's math session, 22nd of January. Let's check yesterday's answers. Pause the video, check your answers. There were a few things that Colin could have done wrong yesterday when finding out 5%, but I think he mixed up the two different methods. I think he divided by 10, then multiplied by 5. What he should have done is either divide by 10 and then divide by 2, or use the other method where he should have divided by 100 then multiplied by 5. Well, the other thing he could have done, could have gotten a little bit confused, was between 5% and 50%. 5% is not a half, whereas 50% is a half, and he could have halved it and found 50% rather than 5%. Yesterday's solve it. So 40% chose football as their favourite. 1/4 is the same as 25%. 25% plus 35% gives us 60%. And the whole of the children would be 100%, minus the 60% that chose tennis and hockey, leaves us with 40% who must have chosen football. So we're on to session 5 of finding percentages, and today we're going to find percentages that are multiples of 5. That's like 15%, 25%, 35%, etc. Let's look first at some of these. Here we've got 15%, 35%, 85% and 55%. We know how to find out 10%, we know how to find out 5%. If we know how to find out 10% and 5%, we can work out all of these. For example, 15% is simply 10% plus 5%. Or if we look at the red example of 35%, it's 10% and 10% and 10% and 5%. So we can add those together to make our answers. So this is the visual of it to put in your head to help us in our understanding of percentages. Let's look first of all at 15%. Let's find 15% of 250. Now I've already said that it's 10% and 5%. 10% and 5% makes 15%. We know how to find 10%. 10% is a tenth. So to find 10% we need to divide by 10. 250 divided by 10, slide it on the place value chart, gives us 25. Then we want to find 5%. Now it's up to you how you do this. You could find it 1% and multiply it by 5, or you could use the other method where if you found 10%, you can find half of it. I'm going to use that method because I've already found out 10%, but if you choose to use the other method, that's absolutely fine. So if 10% is 25, half of that is 12.5. I know this because half of 20 is 10, half of 5 is 2.5. If I put them both together using an addition, it will give me the whole of 15%. 0 add 5 is 5. Don't forget my decimal point. 5 add 2 is 7. 2 add 1 is a dodgy looking 3. So 15% of 250 is 37.5. Our next example is 35% of 620. Now to work this out, I'm going to think about it as 10%, 10%, 10% and 5%. So 10%, 10%, 10% and 5%. To find 10%, I divide by 10. So 620 divided by 10 is 62. And I've got another 62 and another 62. Then to find 5%, it's half of 10%. Half of 62. Half of 60 is 30. Half of 2 is 1. Give me 31. And if I combine these together, it will give me 35%. 2, 4, 6, 7, 6, 12, 18, 19, 20, 21. Once they're combined together, that will give me 35%, which is 620. Sorry, 35% of 620, which is 217. Now, some of you might have chosen to do this in a different way. You might have simply split it into 30% and 50 and 5%. If you know how to find 30% and you know how to find 5%, you can put them together to find 35%. Our next example is 55%. We're going to find 55% of 830. So to start this one off, I'm going to split it up into 50% and 5%. Now I could have split it up into 10, 10, 10, 10, 10 and 5, but actually it's quite easy to find 50%. 50% is half of 830. Well, half of 800 is 400, half of 30 is 15. So I know that would be 415. 50% is 415. Now 5%, I can choose how to work out this 5%. I could do it by working out 10% and then halving it, or I could find 1% and then multiply it by 5, or if I know 50%, I can divide it by 10 to work out that 5% is 41.5. So there's more than one way of working out what the 5% is, and it's up to you which method you use for that part. Once I know my 5% and my 50%, I can add them together. 0 add 5 is 5. 5 add 1 is 6. 1 add 4 is 5. Got 4 in the hundreds there. So 55% equals 456.5. This next example, I'm looking for 85% of 830. I could find 50%, 10%, 10%, 10% and 5% for this. We've already worked out that 50% is 415. Already worked out that 5% is 41. Make sure that point's nice and clear. 0.5 from the previous slide. 10% we need to divide by 10. So 10% would be 83. 83 and another 83. Excuse my wobbly lines. Once I've got those, I can add them all together. I can combine them again. I've only got 5/10. 3, 6, 9 plus the 5 is 14 plus 1 is 15. We've got 8, 16, 24 plus the 4, 24 is 28 plus a 1, 29 plus the 1 is 30. Then we've got 4 plus 3, 7. So 85% of 830 is 705.5. Now there is more than one way of figuring this out. There's more than one method that you can use. You could have split this into 80% and 5%. You could have split it into 8 lots of 10% and a 5%. Okay, it's up to you how you split it up, but once you've split it up, work out each part, then combine it again. For our next example, we're going to find 75%. 75% of 640. Now, we learnt yesterday that there's actually a cheat way of doing this, a different way of doing it. So we're going to work out it using that method as well as the method we've looked at today. So 640 divided by 4 would give us 1/4. then our answer multiplied by 3 would give us 3/4, which is the same as 75%. So we need 640 divided by 4. I can use my bus stop method to do 640 divided by 4. How many 4s in 6? 1, with a remainder of 2. How many 4s in 24? 6. How many 4s in 0? None. So 1/4 is 160. Once we know 1/4, we can multiply it by 3 to find 3/4. So 160 times 3. For this, we can use our short multiplication method. 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 6, 6, 12, 18. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4, giving us the answer of 480. So 75% of 640 is 480. Or we could use today's method. It works just the same for 75%, even though there is a different way of working it out. We could split 75% into 50%, 10%, 10%, and 5%. We could still find 50% by halving 640. Half of 640 is 320. We can still find 10% by dividing 640 by 10, giving us 64, and we'll need 2 of those. And we can still find 5% by halving the 10%, which is 32. Once we've got all of those, we can still add them up in exactly the same way. 4 add 4 add 2 is 10. 6 add 6 is 12. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 3 add 1 is 4. We still get exactly the same answer. And again, it's your choice how you choose to work this out. Visualize it in your head, figure out the different steps, and put it back together again. So it's your turn to practice it. Pause the video and practice. Excellent. And here are your answers. You may have noticed that I put a times sign in these. The times sign literally means of. It still means 35% of 560, etc. If you're confident with those, let's move on to today's Do It. Pause the video and work them out. Today's Twist It. Colin finds 45% of 200 by breaking it down into 10%, 10%, 10% and 5%, and his answer is 70. What has he done incorrectly? What's he forgotten? Which step is incorrect? Work it out and see where Colin went wrong. And then you'll solve it. How many different ways can you find 75%? In this video, we did it 2 different ways, but there are many more different ways. So can you work out 75% of a number in many different ways? Pause the video and complete your Twist It and Solve It. Good job. Let's finally review it. Upload your work to Class Dojo. If you're stuck on any of your work, message me on Class Dojo, and on Monday I will go through the answers to today's Do It, Twist It and Solve It. Have a great day and a fantastic weekend.